open it up with it's great to come on the road, get an ACC win versus a really good football team, a well-coached football team. I have a lot of respect for Dave Clawson and the job he's done and the program that he's built over the last 10 years here at Wake Forest. So we knew we were going against a good football team. We knew the things we had to do. We had to play field position. We had to generate some explosives on offense, and the biggest thing was we knew that we had to start generating some negative plays on the defensive front. We had to be able to affect the quarterback, and we had to start flipping the turnover margin. That was something that we've been we take a lot of pride in working on. It had not happened yet for us, and so it was good to see some of those things take place. The turnovers, the negative plays, and sacks generated on the defensive side of football. Some disappointing things. Obviously the penalties are something that is extremely uncharacteristic, but when you do it, it is characteristic, right? So you're as good as your last game, and that's the mark that you have and that you leave, and that's what we'll be addressing. When we get back and start to put the game to bed and move forward to the next week. But there's a lot of good things to grow on. In the game, I thought we made some improvements in a lot of areas. We forced a fumble on special teams, which was good. It's good to get Shanahan back out there and healthy and kicking the ball, and to help the field position. But then there's, like I said, there's some things we got to address. The penalties are the most concerning of them. We've got to do a better job of being able to consistently run the football. We can't sit back there and have to throw it every single time versus defense. They're a good defense. But we've got to get consistency in the running game, and so we're not becoming a one-dimensional team. And we can put games to bed when we need to put them to bed. Starting with negative field position on offense. When you get a penalty on the first play and you're in the 1st and 20 situation, and those are hard to overcome. And we can't put ourselves in those positions. So it's good to get a win. Excited for the team. Excited for the team to be able to build on the good things and have a win. So it's whether you win a game, whether you lose a game, you've got to address things that are wrong, address things that you have to fix. But it's a heck of a lot better to do it after a win, I'll tell you that. So that, open for any questions.
Both of the touchdowns for the offense came from 30 yards out, and you got some good field position because of a couple of mishaps on their special teams, but weren't able to get touchdowns with some of the red zone possessions. What went into some of maybe the struggles with the offense in the red zone and not being able to put it in the end zone?
Yeah, that's something that when you get in the red area and coverage starts to shrink on you, the windows are tighter. So you've got to be able to create some room running the football and doing it, because then your neck edge, your boot game, some of the action throws that you use down there to affect those tight safeties. If you're not running the ball, those don't become effective at all. So that's the way we've been built down there, and we've got to be able to sustain some of those drives and get them into. We were a lot of long yardage situations, and that's something we've got to really address. And those first down plays, first down, second down, and get down to some of these long third downs.
Okay.
8 sacks today. A lot of pressure on Griffiths. You guys have struggled with that coming into the game, getting sacks. At least you were getting pressures, but not sacks. How important was it to finally kind of break through for those guys to see that?
Yeah, very important. It's something you can build on. You're coaching things. We want to be aggressive. We took an aggressive mindset in some of the situations. A lot of the situations really defensively tonight, and wanted to be able to affect them and slow down the mesh run game that they have with the RPOs and throw that off. And, it's something we can build on. But now you set that expectation to be able to do that. We've got to consistently do that and build on it and be able to do it week in and week out.
Was this closer to the complementary football you've been looking for, or at least in the right direction?
Yeah, it was ups and downs on both sides of the football, and you've got to be able to have each other's back. You can't rely on one side of the ball or one unit to be the one that produces. When you do that, it becomes a hard game to play, a hard game to manage, and it's good when you have a negative series, about one side of the ball, another one can answer and get them out of it. And, we had some timely turnovers tonight too that the defense was able to gain for us and present good field position for the offense. And we've got to be able to capitalize on those things.
Chad?
Only one pass play of 20 yards or more that had to be good to see as well, keeping the explosives relatively limited.
Yeah, we did, but at the same time, there's a lot of things within that we've got to continue to work on. And really, the biggest ring to a DB is a pass rush, and it helps those guys out. But at the same time, when we're in position, we got to stay in position and be able to make plays on the ball and off the man.
Okay.
How valuable is Haynes' willingness to throw downfield, even when he's not connecting, just testing the defense that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're always looking. We've got some guys on the outside that can run, and that we throw it up there, and every throw's not going to be a comfortable throw, and we're going to push it. We're going to try to push it downfield, and we want those 50-50 balls to come out on our side, and we want those to be able to connect on those big plays, and that's what college football is. We've got guys that can be explosive. We've got a quarterback that can deliver the football, and we've got to continue to find ways to be an explosive offense.
Go.
I thought, with the corners, there were maybe some questionable PI calls there, and they bounced back. Kennan obviously got the big interception that was sort of a game clincher for you guys. Can you just talk about how they kind of stayed with it despite the penalties? And then Miles with the tip on the last pick as well.
Yeah, playing some of the coverage we were playing based on the pressures that we were bringing. You're going to be in some one-on-one situations there, and you got to really go back and rely on your technique in those things. And we had some that were timely errors on our part that led to some continued possessions for them and positive field position for them. And at the same time, we were able to come up with a couple of those plays and with the aggressive mindset help seal the game for us.
Jackson?
The kicking game's had its share of ups and downs this year, but how good was it to see the consistency, not going 3 for 3 and not having any misses or blocks or anything like that?
Yeah, it's good. Dang, you say it's bad? Holy cow! I'm looking at my Apple Watch during every field goal to make sure it's not like buzzing off like I'm having a blood pressure attack or something. The doctor was like swarming around me. No, that's good. And really, when you look at overall special teams, we've made a lot of positive strides in all the teams. There's things we still got to work on. Obviously, the field goal was something that we've been addressing. From the protection and the kicking part, it was good to see see us be able to convert on those tonight. I think the punt team's doing a nice job of not only the punter but the varying formations that Ricky is creating and giving and creating basically an extended offensive play there to help with the field position. So look like I'll see on tape. It looked like we got a shoestring away from breaking a big one on kickoff return early in the game, which was positive to see. You'd like to be able to get those, but you got a lot of that goes back to the discipline and discipline your fundamentals and discipline in your in your play before, through, and then after the whistle as well.
Okay.
You mentioned addressing the penalties. How do you do that?
Very calm. No. I'll leave that between the walls or the field.
Might have to call your mom, right?
She'll be calling me here in a minute.
Go.
You were, I guess, not thrilled with maybe your defense in practice this week, it seemed like, and you seemed like you challenged them. They certainly rose to the occasion in the first half and then came up with clutch plays in the second half as well. Just can you kind of talk about seeing that from them and seeing them respond to the coaching piece?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. When things are not right, I'm going to tell them, and we're going to fix them because it's not fair to go back and sit there on a Sunday and say, man, I saw that. I knew that was going to happen. I mean, look, there's a lot of uncontrollables in the game as it is, and when something happens in the week and you don't necessarily have a great practice, hey, it was the D line. It was the D line, and they didn't practice well on Wednesday. And so I just told them in the locker room, I said, I guess we'll have to go to developmental practice every Thursday morning, and they, I don't know if they got a kick out of that or not, but you know, they responded, and that's what you want. You want guys to you know, to listen to what you say, to you know, understand that, hey, look, you know, there's good and there's bad, there's right and there's wrong. There's a right way to do things if you want to win, and you know, we're not going to take shortcuts or make exceptions when it comes to that. You know, the process is what it is, and you know, we're going to stick to the process of what it takes, and it comes with hard work. It comes with hard practice. It comes with preparation and preparing the right way. And when that doesn't take place, we're going to address it and make sure that we do everything we can to get back on track in order to have success on Saturdays.
Anything else for Coach? I feel all right, so.
Yeah, how important was this? Like, you get back to 500 and get an opportunity to play your last non-conference game next week, before the Georgia game, obviously. But, like, just in terms of trying to reset things after, 2 tough losses early in the season.
Yeah, it's, again, not to be cliche with everything, but, it is one day at a time. It's one game at a time. It's, we treat every game as a season in itself. And, that's the biggest challenge when you're dealing with 18 to 22, 23-year-old young men. But it's not just them; it's coaches as well. It's us. It's adults. We all, you want to live either in the past or the future, and be able to keep the mindset of staying one play at a time and playing for 60 minutes. That was the big challenge. I mean, look, Wake was a great second half football team this year, and to be able to challenge them at halftime, look, it's who's going to be able to play a second half? Can we sustain for another 30 minutes? That's the challenge. Challenging each position group, individual players, and challenging those guys to do that. The records come. They are what they are, really. And yeah, it's great. It's a lot better to be on one side than the other. But we're going to stick true to what we're doing. We're going to stick true to how we're preparing. We're going to stick true to being truthful with the kids and being truthful with each other, being able to look ourselves in the mirror and self-assess and admit when things aren't right and aren't the right way. And, that's the way. That's the only way to build a program and to build it in the right way.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.